I grew up in a small village called Impa, which is in the border of Manipur, Assam, and Nagaland. My entire family, we migrated to the district headquarters, Tamenglong, which is about 50 kilometers. We walked on foot in the year 1989 to stay here and go for our schooling. So that is how we started our journey. My family, we are 3 brothers and 4 sisters. My father was a primary school teacher. My mom, who never went to school, was a homemaker. So it was not an easy journey. And out of these 7 children, 6 of us graduated from Delhi University, including I graduated from St. Stephen's. My younger brother and sister graduated from Hindu College. So what I mean to say through this is my parents, they gave their best, irrespective of, when I got into the Indian Revenue Service in 2008, for which I wrote again, to get into the IAS. When my father retired, his salary was only 8,000 rupees. So that was a very, very difficult journey we undertook, yet we never gave up. My parents, they gave their best. My father was not only a school teacher, but he was a carpenter. He would go from house to house, constructing houses. So that's why for children, including myself, my brothers, we used to follow my father in every holidays. We will go and help him. We will wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, go and carry firewood, come back at 6 a.m., brush up, wash up, and study and go to school. I remember in some holidays, we used to follow my mom to go and break stones, the concretes. In fact, some of the school buildings here in my district headquarters has lots of concretes broken by us. And I'm extremely happy to say that today I'm heading the district as their deputy commissioner. That's a satisfaction I get. So I will not dwell so much into the past. So how and what inspires me to be an IAS is very clear. So that's what I keep telling all the aspirants wherever I'm invited to give a talk to encourage them, to give them tips for the IAS interviews. So what I told them is very clear. To be an IAS, you should have a reason. You should have a very, very strong reason why you want to be in the IAS. Until and unless you cannot find that passion and a reason why you want to be in the IAS, you may get through the service because you're bright, because your background is good, but you will not find so much pleasure when you actually start the work. So what I tell the young folks is, if you want to be in the IAS, have the passion, have a very strong reason why you want to be in the IAS. See, why I want to be in the IAS is very clear. I grew up from this place. I had walked this road several times on foot. I remember walking with my relatives, walking with my villagers, not being able to reach our village in a day. We used to sleep over in some villages. All our legs would be swollen because we walk on foot. I remember one day my journey with my dad, we slept under a very big rock because we thought we could reach the village. We crossed through the middle village. We could not reach the village, my village. So, it was too dark and I could not walk anymore. So we slept under a big rock that night without food. I have seen enough struggle growing up as a child. Sometimes our parents could not afford to pay the fees. Difficult. When I was in college in Delhi, our parents could not send money in time. When I was in Shillong, I remember we used to have just 1 meal a day for 3 days because my parents could not send money on time. My elder brother, since he could not afford those bus tickets to go through Guwahati and come to Imphal, he has to go through Assam side, Kachar side, and come walking to my district to take some money from my parents. So all of these experiences has only confided on me the determination just to reaffirm myself that I have to be in the IAS if I want to bring some changes and change the lives of people who are else still struggling like the way I did while growing up. So the reason was very clear, and that's how after I remember very specifically when I was on my third standard, we used to do a parade mass parts for 15 August. It's a really muddy ground. We used to walk there as a kid. I just have one pair of uniform. All our uniforms would be soaked, shoes would be torn because we do mass parts there on that ground. So I asked the principal of my school, whom are we saluting after the parade, during the parade? We used to salute the deputy commissioner. He used to hoist a flag. So I asked the principal, who is this person? He said, he's the deputy commissioner who can bring a lot of changes, who can bring a lot of things. Since then, the name of deputy commissioner, IAS officer, got imprinted on my mind. And as I grew up, it got more and more emboldened on me, imprinted on me, the reason why I want to be in the IAS. So after my after I completed my high school here in my own town, I went down, studied 11 and 12 at St. Edmunds. Then I went to St. Stephen's in Delhi, and there was no turning back. There were other, lots of tempting things to do, but I say nothing doing. So I went straight to write the UPSC, and here I am. I got it. And the most satisfying thing is today we are developing a ground, the ground which I used to walk 20 years back as a school kid. In 2017, when I came as a deputy commissioner, I was hoisting a flag. It was raining so much. I spoke for 1.5 hours. I gave such a speech, that made a lot of people cry. I promised to the children there who were walking on the same muddy ground that we're going to change the face of this ground. And I'm glad to tell you that we're now, wait maybe another 15 days, if the pandemic goes, the children here will walk on the dry ground even if it rains. So that's the type of satisfaction this job has brought me. The passion, the commitment that I had to be in the service, irrespective of whatever crisis that I have to go through, the hardship that I have to go through, it really doesn't matter because the passion was so strong. The determination that I had, studying for 10, 14 hours a day, sometimes in a hot summer sun in Delhi, staying on the 5th floor of the building because the rent was the cheapest, and staying in a outskirt of the city, like say Nehru Bihar, Gandhi Bihar, you name it, because the rent were the cheapest, staying there, studying there, with just a fan. We did not have money to buy AC or cooler. But still then, none of that matters because the zeal to be there in the service was so strong. And here I am today working for the last 12, 13 years. And it's such a pleasure being in the service, being able to deliver little things that, I long for to see as a child, I'm able to deliver today. So I think that sums up my journey. When I joined as an young 25-year-old subdivisional magistrate here in my own subdivision where I am from, I had to go walking on foot because there was no road, and the only existing road was never repaired for the last 20-30 years before I was born. So there was basically no road, so I had to keep traveling on foot to visit the villages under whose jurisdiction, under my jurisdiction. So we convened a meeting at a village called Folklong, where more than 300 people turn up. And then, these people, they knew me because, growing up from this place and, with a passion to be in the IAS, I was somehow quite well known already before I became an IAS. Now, when I became an IAS, yes, the first chap from my community in my state, and it was even a bigger news. The hope, the joy that these people have was too much. So when I asked them first, what is that we should do first? they all stood up and said, see, you're an IAS officer, but you still came walking on foot. We have been walking on this road for the last so many years, and we're probably going to die walking on this road on foot. So first thing, let us do this road. The road connecting my subdivisional headquarters with my district headquarters, and then connect my subdivisional headquarters to another highway coming from Nagaland and going to Assam. So I told them that this will be extremely challenging because we do not have money. You know, a resource deficit state like Manipur, we have to go through so many processes to get fundings. Now, I say this may not be possible, but you know, one elder, 90-year-old, stood up and said, "You're an IAS officer. You have to find a way. If you expect a villagers like us to find a way, we will die. We will end up dying. We will end up dying waiting for this road to happen." He said, "As my contribution, I'm gonna give you my 5 month salary." That's what he told. I asked, "How much is that?" You know, a 90-year-old man saying 5 month salary. So his 5 month salary came to 1,000 rupees because he gets an old age pension of 200 rupees per month each. So that man raised my ego, you know, saying her basically challenged. Then one by one stood up women's society. They stood up, you know, we're gonna fed some firewoods for the workers. The youth stood up and said, we're gonna, you know, go and do fishing in the river for the workers to eat. Well, the workers say, the villagers say, we'll walk from dawn till dusk, you know, with whatever we can. So that was a big challenge. Then I went back. You know, when you're 24, 25 years old, you're very crazy. You don't know, you don't care so much about what rules and this and that lies ahead. Then I came back being challenged. I had few savings in my account because I was in the revenue service, Indian Revenue Service for about a year. We went training. We basically spent nothing because the government spent everything during our training. So it was a saving of 5-6 lakhs. My brother is quite well settled in Delhi with his wife. Both of them are assistant professor in Delhi. My mother also gets a pension from my father. So all of these were there. So I said, okay, we're going to do something. But before I do that, let me go to Imphal. I spoke to my chief secretary. I spoke to my work commissioner, everything. But what they said was true. To get a single penny central funding, first you have to make a DPR. First, you have to get approval from the state. Then it goes to the ministry. Ministry will review. So all of this takes about 3-4 years. So they said, we cannot immediately take up this road. So now the only condition left to me was, should I wait for 3-4 years or should I do something by myself, whatever I can do? So I said, okay, I have few savings. My brother and sister will contribute. And then since the villagers are willing, come on, let's do it. And I'm very optimistic person. I had about 2,000 friends on Facebook that time. I was saying, if 1,000 people contributes 1,000 rupees each, you know, I still have 10 lakhs rupees. You know, and I went and requested some rich people here who has some machines like JCBs and, you know, bulldozers, all of those. I went and requested them to give either free or at a very subsidized rate. So some of them help actually. And that is how we started. So we started somewhere in July, August, and then we were able to complete in the month of February. So we inaugurated it. People are still using it. And we are extremely happy to say that more than, I don't know the number of people, but people from over 25 countries participated in this process. And then our village, which never saw road since the beginning of the world's earth, had witnessed more than 200 vehicles coming on the day of inauguration. So I'll just tell you a very funny story. I mean, one elder fellow, when we came for survey in the month in 2012, July, June, I took him along for a survey. And he said, I have been my village chairman for the last 31 years. I have even gone and met Indira Gandhi. This road will never happen. if it happens, I'm gonna give you my biggest mithun. Mithun is that I don't know if you know that black variety, which is quite expensive. So on the day of inauguration, after 7 months, he definitely did a sacrifice. He gifted. So we had a big feast that day, and he's still alive. So I'm happy to tell you that this road took off well. And now, because of this initiative, it became very popular. No, not only me, but this entire people's road became very popular. I got invitation from Facebook headquarters, Mark Zuckerberg's office, to be there for addressing their executives. Of course, I could not go because the notice was too short. Then Amitabh Bachchan का एक show था. There was one show, so I went there. Got invitation for many other things. More than 40 media houses came and did this story. So, and not only media from India, media from UK, US, and everywhere possible. Now, what I want to tell you is now, because of this, the government has now taken this initiative to declare it as a national highway. And I'm very happy to tell you that even now, as we're interviewing, the contractors and the NHIDCL officials are all here in my town to do the work to start the construction of this road. It's such a dream come true. Just 3 days back, we had meetings. We arranged between all the contractors, the NHIDCL officials, and then NHIDCL is a corporate branch of the ministry that looks into the road construction for Jammu Kashmir, Himalayan states, including Northeast. So their office is set up here because of this road. And I bet the villagers, because they are tired. I'm tired of hearing their complaint. So I asked them, by next year, December, if any one of you says that the road will still be bad, I'm willing to bet my 1 month salary. How many of you can say that the road to my area will still be bad? Please stand up. I'm willing to bet my 1 month salary by next year, December. That much is the passion that I have. So I'm glad to tell you that this happened. I think I don't say I'm a successful leader, but whatever little things that we've been able to do so far is, I think we got to be willing to take a little extra challenge. If you want to do only the normal, any clerk can do that. So I believe I was able to take that challenge to step out of my comfort zone and take up the challenge. And believe me, when we were doing this People's Road, I got so much of scolding from my seniors. No minister was willing to take me to their district. So I was denied DMship for 3 years. My juniors were getting DM and I wasn't getting DM. I said, it doesn't matter. I'll stay because my salary is the same. Now, in 2017, when I went to Delhi to bargain to declare this as a national highway project, so the managing director told me, Armstrong, the land compensation cost is too much. So we'll not be able to take up a greenfield project. So I said, sir, what if I give everything for free? Will you still come and dig the road? He was surprised, because at that same time, there was another proposal for improvement and widening of the existing highway. The tune of compensation was coming to 1,100 crores. So he took a cue from that and said, Armstrong, the land acquisition cost is too much. And he's absolutely right. Since 2014 April to 2018 March, the amount of money spent by the Ministry of Road and Transport for this national highway is 1.2 lakh crores, out of which 80,000 crore goes for land acquisition. Only 40,000 crores goes for actual road construction. Only 1/3 goes for actual road construction. So he was right. So when I told him, sir, if I give everything for free, including my house and villager's house, you come and destroy our house, we don't care. We just want the road. If I do this, will you still do the road? He was surprised. He was awestruck and taken aback. How can this happen? He said, why not? I'm willing to even give you 500 crore in this next 15 days if you can do that. So I went back home, had at least about 10 meetings with the villagers, because for them, their next neighbors were getting lakhs of money from railway compensation and other national highway project compensation. So I told them, if we want this road, we have to give up something. And moreover, since our government is going through difficult times because of COVID, why don't we tell the government, I'm going to give you whatever I can. Invite the government to come and do whatever they can. That's how, all the villagers sign an agreement. In fact, one of the village, I told them, see, about 20 household of your village will be taken away if the road comes in the middle of the village. The village chairman, this village called Namtiram village, they say, no, this is what we've been longing for. We want the road to pass through the center of our village. This has been our dream. Our house we can build again. So that much sacrifice we did. And I'm extremely happy to tell you that this road, if it happens, will connect Guwahati with my district headquarters in 6 hours. A person wanting to go to Singapore can sit at their own village bus station and take a single bus and reach Singapore. This changes we wanted to see. I keep telling my villagers and the officials of NHIDCL, this little progress that we see today, if this road is done in the next 2 years' time, I would say it's bigger than my service, that I am in, bigger than Armstrong Pame, myself. Because this has been the dreams of so many thousands of people. And it is for this that I exist in the service. Because I came here through going through several struggling points, through the prayers of so many people. I remember my cousin brothers carrying a load of cane, C-A-N-E, cane. He took it from the jungle. He carried about 50, 60 kilos, walk on foot for 2 days. He just sold that for $500 and he sent that to me, for my studies. Well, me and my brother were in Shillong. These people long for the good road. And now, if I cannot deliver this, if I cannot be a mechanism to bring a change to them, I feel there is no meaning to continue in the service. That much dedication I had. So I'm extremely happy. In my last 1.5 years experience dealing with the private sectors, it has been extremely fruitful. I'll tell you, this COVID battle is impossible to be battled alone by the government. Today, I can tell you that, yes, government is doing a lot of things, no doubt. I have, say, in my district, I have more than 80 oxygen concentrators now. Okay, so maybe 30 of them might have come from the government. I get from Selco Foundation, I got 16 oxygen concentrator. Habitat India, I got 8. From Tata Trust, I got so many. I got this, I got that. More than 60% of my oxygen concentrator are from the private sectors. Just giving an example. Now, in fact, as we are having meeting now, I think the Selco team is on their way to install a solar power in my entire district hospital, which would cost them more than 1 crore. Just 2 days back, I wrote a letter to the Power Grid Corporation of India to give me some PPEs. Just, almost whenever any private entities who are doing commercial business, who invites me for a talk on business for expanding their, to say for civil service, so to say. See, I cannot charge money directly being a civil servant. You know what I do? I tell them, why don't you donate for this orphanage house? Why don't you donate for this village school? Why don't you donate for a sanitary napkins? I remember, some civil service institutes, along with some newspaper media house were inviting me. So I told them, what is your fees? Oh, I cannot charge any fee. So why don't you donate some amount of money to buy sanitary napkins for at least 100 women? It hardly cost them 30, 40,000 or 50,000. So what I mean, until today, I mean, two ambulance, I'm still expecting from a corporate sector for carrying out vaccination. So what I want to convey is we have to remove that, the private people sees the government as a very thick layer to penetrate, to even talk, to get their license done. I think that era is gone. The mentality of the private has also to change. Don't think that it is not doable. Think that it can be done. Accordingly, the government sectors is also reinventing and re-innovating. So I think it depends on how you converse along, or the two people communicating. They are very important. So that's what I wanted to say. The way our education system has been, if I am never thought about something when I grow up, how do you expect me to know? So, I mean, for a kid studying in the inner part of Rajasthan, for example, okay, I've been to innermost part of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, travel through a lot of villages during my Bharat Darshan tours. I know them a little bit because I study them in my book as growing up in my school. Now, for a kid living there, if you have never heard of Manipur, you have never heard of some, beautiful place like Loktak, or beautiful, snow-clad mountains in and around Sikkims and others, how do you expect them to suddenly change their mindset? If you have never put a photograph of a single Northeastern person in their textbook, or not being shown on TV, how can you expect a kid who grew up studying only about Mahatma Gandhi and other national freedom fighters in their textbooks, and see only Amitabh Bachchan and Shahrukh Khan on TVs? Suddenly, when a person like who looks like a Chinese, say me, for example, suddenly appears to them, it's not their fault, right? So I do not want to blame this. During my Bharat Darshan tour, as we were touring through interior part of India, I was with my 15 other friends, all mainlanders. I am the only odd one looking out. The most interesting face for them to watch out for is me, because they're seeing a very different feature. So I don't blame them. So the first thing, I think, every textbook, starting from class 3, 4 till class 10, irrespective of the syllabus, state, board or CBSE or ICSE or whatever it is, I think it is extremely important to have a chapter on Northeast. Compulsory, make it mandatory, be it Marathi, be it Bengali, whatever, make it. I think we have good stories now to put. You can put a story on Mary Kom. You can put a story on Mirabai Chanu. Mirabai Chanu, example, just give an example. I was a sports director. Of course, she was, that was much ahead. She used to come traveling to sports center for training on sand carrying trucks. Can you believe it? Because her mother was running a tea stall. All the truck drivers will come and stop by for tea. To go to the sports center, she did not have money to hire a vehicle. She would be given a ride in those sand carrying trucks. And now she is searching for those drivers who gave her a lift after winning silver medal in the Olympics. I think there are good stories to put from Northeast. I mean, what I mean to say is, if a person is looking out, if you're thinking that, story, Northeast, whose story should we keep? I think we've got a good stories to be kept from Northeast. So that is the first thing. Second thing, when you make a movies about people from Northeast, see, I agree, Priyanka Chopra playing Mary Kom would have given so much more coverage. Agree, right? But I do not think that when you're making such a movie, I do not think they are looking so much to overtake the record of Salman Khan's movie, right? I mean, what I'm saying is, I am quite sure that the movie director must be making a movie to spread and to tell the good story. It is not so much to hit the billboard so much that it becomes a record creator, 100 crores club or 500 crores club. So you can at least have main characters, people from Northeast. I think we have a lot more Northeast people also equally qualified to play such a movie. Now I think after Mary Kom, this Mirabai Chanu's some movie production house might be contacting her already. I'm not sure. And now we're short of one more medal from Assam. I'm sure she's an absolutely amazing story to make. Three daughters. The neighbors would keep telling the parents, "You don't have a son. You got only daughters. What will you do?" I think it's a good story for the nation. Now, at least take some ladies from Northeast maybe to feature in the movies. I think the medias can do a lot of that. The third thing is the medias can give a lot more attention. I remember when Asura Rai was getting married, there was some big incidents happening in Northeast also. I don't remember exactly what was that. But whenever I turn on to any news channel, it's only Asura Rai and Abhishek Bachchan's marriage story and nothing to do with whatever is happening in Northeast. Sometimes I text my friends in the media world, yeah, why are you at least not covering this? I used to be quite pissed off, but what can I do? I'm not the one running the show. So I think medias can have a lot of good stories. And mainstream, say, print media, not only the TV, huh? So like say, Times of India, why don't they dwell some 1 or 2 page, say at least half a page on something happening in Northeast, on daily newspaper? Why can't they have a correspondent at least in 8 state capitals? Today, if I ask how many mainstream newspapers or TV has their correspondent in every big cities except for Guwahati, will they have a correspondent? I don't think 80% would have. So only when things happen, they will come. I'm sure when Lovelina comes back, now she's assured of a medal. I think there will be a stampede in Guwahati airport. I think every day is a new challenge. I do not set my priorities for 3-4 years ahead. Say this morning, one villager came to me saying that, he had been trained to, for saloon. He was in Chennai for the last 4 years. Now he wants to set up an establishment here. And there are so many more like that, who are an expert in their own field. They're not finding their jobs. So many of them had left their call center works because of the pandemics. They've come back here. I mean, I would say the challenges are tremendous. I look forward to solving them in whatever little capacity that I can. As of now, the next immediate thing is in the next 3 months, I have to see this road being started. In fact, I was so disappointed with 1 or 2 contractors who bid the project at such a negative rate, and because of them, 6 months delay. So I threatened them that I'll file an FIR. So the new contractors should start the work. In fact, I told some contractors who had come earlier saying that by 31st, that is today, if they had not started the work, even dig a single spat, if they had not, I'm not going to be happy with them. So my immediate goal is to see this road being started. And of course, as you know, the COVID situation, vaccination is a very difficult drive where my district is facing difficulties. We just covered 25% of the population. I look forward for that. And so many things. I look forward to coming to Delhi and working there in some of the ministries, because time for deputation also has come. And if the government gives me an opportunity, I want to do some studies abroad. I went to Oxford last year. No, in 2019, I went to Oxford. For 2 weeks I was there. I was looking at the incredible opportunities which we can learn and interact. I was in Davos in 2019 January. I interacted with some of the top brains in the world. Looking at the opportunities that I can still learn and be, able to bring whatever things that I learned into practicality in the country is tremendous. So I look forward for all of those opportunities.